back to my channel. My name is Rita Lawani. If you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you so much for coming back. And if this is the first time you're seeing my face, you are most definitely welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can be part of the family. And also make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be about how I survived freshman year in college. So I started college a few years ago. I actually started majoring in nursing because I want to be a doctor. So for some reason, I read online where it said you can actually major in nursing and then you have something to fall back to just in case medical school doesn't work well for you. So I don't know why I thought that information was right, but that was actually very, very wrong. And this is why research is super important, you guys. Before you get into college, make sure you know what you want to major in, make sure you know what you want to minor in, if that also interests you. And if you have that information, it's going to be a good start for you because then you actually go into college knowing that, hey, this is what I want to do. Just because I had read online where it said that you can actually major in nursing just so if medical school becomes too hard for you, you have something to fall back to. I don't know why I thought that was right, but that is so dumb. Going down the line, I figured out why it's so dumb, and I'll tell you guys why in a little bit. And this is because being a nursing student, whatever courses that you're going to be taking, those requirements are not going to apply towards being a doctor. So, yes, I started off majoring in nursing, which was a completely disaster because I thought that I would, major in nursing and then transfer over to being a doctor. Like, I did not have any information right, you guys, and it was just a complete disaster. So, long story short, after about 2 semesters in, which is an entire year, I ended up speaking with an advisor who actually told me and said, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be a doctor. She's like, girl, you are in the wrong zone. You are completely in the wrong zone. This is not what you're supposed to be majoring. You're actually supposed to be majoring in biology because majoring in biology would actually give you the prerequisites that you would need to go into med school. And I was like, oh my God, I literally just wasted an entire year taking nursing prerequisites that don't even apply to what it is that I'm trying to do. So of course that was a waste of time, waste of money because I do pay out of pocket. It was a waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy. I was completely mad, but I cannot be mad at no one else but myself. I did not have my information correctly. So fast forward into me changing my major. I changed my major and then I finally made my major biology. So when I made my major biology, I was taking the courses that I needed as prerequisites to actually get into med school. Choosing classes are super important, you guys. And I say this because don't just pick classes whereby they rhyme with your schedule, whatever it is that you have going on. If you work, don't just go off of classes based on, oh, this actually fit my work schedule and I don't have to adjust my work schedule, because I feel like education is super important, you guys. And if there's anything that you should be adjusting to fit the other stuff, it definitely should be your work schedule if possible. I know sometimes, we all have jobs whereby it's not really flexible, but if possible, try to adjust your work schedule to your school schedule. And I say this because if you are fixated on having your regular work schedule and picking classes that fit your work schedule, you might end up in really, really bad classes whereby the professors are terrible. And I am a victim of that. I remember in my freshman year, I dropped 2 classes. I'll probably leave the screenshot up here just to show you guys the classes that I dropped. Either 1 or 2, I can't really remember correctly, but I ended up dropping either 1 or 2 classes just because the professor was horrible. And I literally went into those classes completely blind. I had no idea what the professor was like. I have no idea how they grade, what kind of exam settings they have. It was just a complete disaster. So I went into these classes. The professors were not great. I ended up dropping 1 or 2, can't remember. And I obviously wasted money because as soon as you register for these classes, you become liable for the tuition for those classes, depending on how long into the semester you end up dropping the class. And this is where this particular website called Rate My Professor comes in. Mind you guys, this is not a sponsored video. I'm just saying what really helped me out. So if you don't know about this website, here in the United States, there is a website called Rate My Professor. And this website is super helpful. When you go on there, you just click whatever college or university it is that you're trying to go to. You click the name of the course that you're trying to study, or whatever the case may be, and it would really bring out all the professors in that particular school that teaches that course. And not only that, you can actually see the profile of these professors. You're not going to see what they look like, of course, but you can basically read whatever reviews previous students have about that particular professor. So it's like, if I were to take the class, I could go on that website and leave a review and say, hey, this professor was really nice. Take the course. It's like this, it's like this, it's like this, boom, whatever the case may be. And I feel like that really helps a lot, just because when you go on the website, you pick the course that you want to study, and you see a bunch of different professors that comes up. You see their rating, you see if you're gonna see a lot of information, you guys. You're gonna see ratings from students, you're gonna see comments, you're gonna see students talking about how they feel about the class, if the professor was actually a good person. All of that information is gonna be right there on that website. So that's super helpful. And I actually got to find out about that website, obviously, after the 1 year that I had spent taking courses that did not even apply to my degree, right? And I found out about this website via some girl, just a random girl. We were never friends or anything. It actually happened that we were in the Bursar's office, and I had my phone, and she had the same phone case that I had. So when she saw my phone, she was like, girl, did you steal my phone? I was like laughing. And then she said, I have the exact same phone case. Then we talked for a little bit. I told her how I was struggling with classes, and she was the one that gave me that information about the website. Girl, if you're watching this video, I don't know you anymore. I don't think I would even recognize you on the street, but if you do recognize me, just say hi, girl. I'm really grateful for what you did for me, and I'll never forget you. So yes, guys, back into the video. So after I found out about the website, every single semester that I ended up taking classes in, I will really go on that website, make my research, make sure that I have a little bit of idea about what this professor is like. It's not going to be 100% accurate. And I say this because 1 month's food is another month's poison, right? So I might take a course and I may be like, oh my God, this professor is so great. I love her. She's super easy. And someone else might take that professor and say, oh my God, that professor is horrible. She's not great. Like, everyone's not going to like you. You get what I mean, right? So not all the reviews on there are going to be 100% correct based on personalities, but obviously the majority of the reviews that the professor has should tell you about what kind of person the professor is. So that is a very helpful tip as a freshman year college student. So obviously, after I got that settled in, every other semester, every other class that I ended up taking, it went by so smoothly because I had an idea of this professor before actually registering for the class. So guys, if you see me looking down in here, that's because I have my iPad with me. I actually jotted down a few points because I don't want to miss any points, y'all. So I actually jotted down a few points about how to survive freshman year in college. So first things first is time management. Time management is super important, you guys. You just have to be able to manage your time properly, be able to balance your classes, assignments, and study time. I know it can be super hard to actually have a full-time job and go to school at the same time. Girl, been there, done that. It was crazy, like just having to go to school, all of that. It was crazy, and I'm super grateful to God that I was able to pull through, persevere through all of that. And yes, second tip, you guys, is class attendance and participation. It is super important to attend classes and always participate in discussions. I feel like this is super helpful because networking is so important. If you are actually going to class, I would say try to have 1 or 2 conversations with somebody in the class. That way, if you happen to miss a day or two in school, you actually have somebody who you talk to in class that could either share their notes with you, give you information that you might have missed, because not all professors are going to be super communicative. And this is actually something that actually was a problem for me back then. I had no friends during my freshman year of college. So when I were to miss class a day or two, maybe because I was ill or like just didn't feel like going or whatever the case may be, it was hard for me to keep up with studying because the professor probably thought a brand new topic for that day, and because they taught a brand new topic for that day, I am completely lost behind. And when exam comes, I'm having a hard time actually answering questions on that topic because I actually missed the whole lecture. But if I were to have like a friend or two, I would have been able to, backtrack, ask questions, get their notes, or if they record it. Yeah, I'm so glad I remember that. Recording is super important, you guys. I felt like that actually helped me a whole freaking lot, y'all. Like just being able to record in class. All you have to do is just, if you use an iPhone, whatever type of phone you use, it is super easy. Just put your phone down, face your phone down on your table, and record the lectures. And that is so helpful because if something were to happen and you were to like not understand what the professor was saying, instead of like asking questions multiple times, which it's super okay for you to ask questions out, don't get me wrong, but some professors will get irritated if you keep asking questions over and over again, and you don't want them to put their eyes on you. You don't want a bullseye on your back, right? So of course, recording lectures are super important. That way, whenever you have a hard time understanding what it is that the professor is saying, then definitely you can go back during your free time, listen to the lecture, and pause it, play it. Like just go at your own pace. It is super helpful, you guys. Point number 3: managing stress and self care. It's super important to actually have like self-care during college because college can be super duper stressful, and stress management is so important, you guys. Self-care, when I say self-care, it just means just don't overwhelm yourself, don't take more classes than you can handle, which is, I have actually tried to take 5 classes in one semester, you guys. Some people have done that. I personally know some people who have actually taken 5 classes in one semester, did great in all of that, but it's not always going to work for everybody, and also it depends on the intensity of the course that you're trying to take. You get what I mean? So science courses obviously are very broad, very intense, so it would be hard to take 5 science courses at a time. So the maximum number of courses that I would actually take in a semester would be 3, maximum 4, maximum 4, nothing more than 4, and I would actually do good. Because if you were to overwhelm yourself with so many courses, it would be hard, especially during test times or examination times. It would be super hard for you to study, especially if you have 2 exams in one day and you have little to no time between sessions. So yes, you guys, always try to manage stress, manage time, still find time to do what you love. Do what you love, because that is what's gonna keep you going. Actually doing what you love aside from school, like doing hobbies, like getting your hobbies done. If your hobby is to create content, of course you can do that. That probably gives you joy. If your hobby is singing, dancing, reading, whatever the case may be, do not sideline your hobbies because of college. Yeah, always try to find a way to actually balance both. Tip number 4: independence and responsibility. It is super important to be able to take ownership of your actions and decisions, because I find myself trying to blame someone else for something that's happening in school, and I'm like, girl, ain't nobody to blame. I have myself to blame because I probably made the wrong choice, I probably made the wrong decision. So all of that, being able to take accountability also is going to help you really think about more choices harder enough in the future before you actually make those decisions. Goal setting and planning. Try to like create strategies for setting and achieving academic and personal goals. And I say this because like personally in the college that I attended, we actually had this website called Blackboard, and Blackboard was so helpful because it literally listed every course that you had on there. It would literally give you notifications if you have a test due the following day, or whenever the test was due, it would tell you. Whenever your professor makes an announcement in the class, you would get the notification. So it was very super easy for me to keep track of whatever it is that was going on in class. But I understand not every college you're probably going to have that website, which is why it's super important that you have a planner, maybe on your phone or a notebook, that you could put all these notifications in. So for example, if your professor were to say, hey, we have a test that's going to be due on this day, and that's where syllabus comes in handy. On the first day of class, I always try to print out the syllabus for that particular course, and that's super helpful because it just has every information about the class that you're going to need. For example, when the exams are, what times they're going to be, how they're going to be graded, if the test were to be worth 20%, 30%, everything you need to know about the course would be in the syllabus, and the professor would always provide the syllabus in the beginning of the semester. And if they don't, always be sure to ask and say, hey, professor, we haven't gotten a syllabus. Can we see that? And obviously, you're going to get it. Next thing I want to talk about is embracing challenges and learning from mistakes. Like, there is so much value in stepping out of your comfort zones and learning from failures. Like, failure is a necessity. I would say failure is a necessity, because if you don't fail, you will not be able to value your wins as much as you should. But if you have failed a couple of times, when you finally break through that obstacle, when you finally win, you're gonna say, oh my god, this feels so good. Like, you get what I mean? And failure is never a bad thing. I haven't failed a course before, but the minimum I have ever gotten on a course was a C. And that was horrible. I was just having a really, really horrible time during that particular semester, which is crazy, y'all, because this particular course was genetics. I love genetics. I love genetics to death. Like, I love genetics. I'm just so fascinated by genetics, and I was super excited for this course, because after I actually graduated and got my associate's degree, I transferred into a 4-year college to get my bachelor's degree. And when I did that, that is when I took genetics. So I was super excited because I had a little bit of background knowledge about genetics in my associate's degree. So I was willing to expand and, learn more. But it turns out that the college that I'm currently going to, they only had one professor that teaches genetics, and she's horrible, guys. I don't even want to get into that. She is super horrible. She came to class late. Her teaching technique was trash, and I ended up with a C. I fought so hard, guys. I fought so hard, tooth and nail. I actually took 3 courses in that particular semester. I got A's on the other 2 courses, and I had a C with her. And I felt like she just ruined my transcript, you guys. I wanted to cry so bad, because I have never gotten a C in my entire life. Not that I'm saying that a C is a bad thing, but for me, I just wasn't used to actually getting that particular grade in my entire 4 years of going to college. So, guys, always make sure you understand that failure is super important, and it's inevitable. You're always going to fail at some point, no matter how little it is, no matter how huge it is. Everyone is going to experience failure at some point in life. Just understand that it is not the end of the road, and you're just going to do just fine. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I definitely will be in the comment sections replying if you have any questions. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.